Hello, everyone, fellow tabletop gamers and video gamers out there. Welcome to session number 15 of the Athenaeum tabletop campaign. We are still in Lonix World, which is a very fun, zany, tiny toony, we're all a little loony kind of world. And we have Thistleback. Yay! Fantastic. It's good to have you back. We definitely missed you. If possible, I'm gonna let Thistle answer last warm up, the last warm up, which was, I believe it was, what genre of video game, hypothetically, if Black Powder grew up with video games, hypothetically, what genre of video game do you think Black Powder would have enjoyed?
Back when he was a kid, he probably would have liked any kind of big adventure RPG like Dragon Age, Mass Effect, stuff like that. But now he's honestly would be like a sandbox guy. So like Animal Crossing, Minecraft, just anything he can chill and just do shit.
Sharing a similar vibe with Sam and Lonic on that regard.
I'm not surprised he's similar to Sam.
Yeah. Cool. For my warm-up question, so one of the things I wanted to see if I could squeeze in, I wasn't planning on necessarily including it. It was more of a if we had time, but I don't know if we do have time. I was planning on doing an additional world, which was the street fighting world, because street fighting is like a huge part of the 90s, especially like the 90s video games with Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, obviously. So my question is, and I think everybody here is perfectly cool answering both sides of this without feeling like they're offending anyone. I hope nobody would get offended. If you all participated in a street fighting tournament, and we'll say it's not Mortal Kombat, it's more like Street Fighter 2 tournament, and you kept your, special moves and special abilities in this Street Fighter tournament. We can even call it Smash Brothers tournament, if you want to call it that. If you all were put in a battle royale, Smash Brothers style, which one do you believe would have come up victorious, and which one do you believe might be taken out, first? If we did stock, if everybody have played Super Smash Brothers, stock is like you have a certain number of lives, and like if you have 3, once you get knocked off the arena 3 times, you're out. So if we played it that way, who do you think would be knocked out first, and who do you think would reign supreme at the end? You are certainly allowed to name your own character for either one. So just for fun, who do you think? Anyone wants to give any predictions? And I'll even throw, if it makes it easier for you, we'll throw Sous Vide in there. We'll throw Sous Vide in there too. And Sous Vide, just like Zelda, can transform between her 2 forms. Like Zelda has her princess form and her Sheik form, so we'll say that Sous Vide can do that.
There are certain characters that I think their abilities would lend themselves to being kind of broken, and other characters that I feel like would have a significant disadvantage. I feel like Lonic and Black Powder would be at the biggest disadvantage, but I do think Lonic would go out first, more for psychological reasons. I feel like he would be the most reluctant to fight back. Where Tori and Frankie, I think, would be the final 2. Because Tori can't get hit. Have you ever tried to fight a boss that can teleport or go transparent? It's miserable. But the one person who could hit Tori would probably be Frankie with his psionics. Or Star with Starburst, but Star I don't think is as bulky as Frankie, so I think Star would probably be mid-tier. So I'm going to say Frankie would win.
I kind of do agree that at the end it would probably end up being like Tori and Frankie, but I think Tori would come out victorious. Just because, like, Tori's got, like, she could possess, like, she could, like, go in and, like, dominate. Like, that's over. Like, game over. As far as those that would probably be taken out first, maybe Black Powder or Sam, one of them two. But they'll go out with a fight for sure. But it would just be like, yeah. That would be my.
I'm guessing that we would also have in Smash Brothers they have these things called trophy power-ups or
Assist
something.
trophy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think like every now and then you don't have to put this into consideration, but maybe there'll be like a trophy version of each of your artifacts. So the grenade of many things and the flux inductor. I think that would be kind of cool.
Well, thank you guys. So, okay. I think I do agree based on the abilities that Tori has that she would come out on top, but I do think there's something to be said about Lonnick's ability to just move really quickly. I think you would be really hard to hit. So you might wear out Tori after a while if it's at that final battle between the two of us. And because you still can kind of hit her with the electric shock that he has. So if he kept that on, then there is a chance he could hit her and just outlast her.
Just a little tick.
Just every time, yeah. And then, yeah, I think just simply because of the fact that Sam and Black Powder don't have magic, they would probably be one of the first to go. And unfortunately, with Black Powder, I think a lot of it is due to his physical disabilities. So, but yeah, like everyone was saying before, BP would not go down without a fight. He would fight to the bitter end.
Because I was gonna say, I'm going into this thinking like everyone's already been assured everyone will be fine afterwards, so nobody has to hold back. So I'm taking that whole out of the thing. Thinking strategy-wise, if everyone ganged up, Frankie would go out first because they know he would be the biggest threat. So if everyone ganged up on Frankie, he would be gone.
And you probably could convince everyone. You could probably fast talk your way to tell everybody it's smarter.
If it wasn't Frankie who went out first, it would be Black Powder because he can't move. If you can't move in those games, you're screwed. I actually think Star would be the last one standing. Because he can fly. He can just stay out of the way and watch until it comes down to the him and one other person, and then he just comes in and just starburst. Whether it's Tori or Frankie standing at that point, Star could do a bunch of damage immediately and just stay out of the way otherwise. The only other one who would have a chance would probably be Sam with guns.
And the fact that Star can split himself into 5 different people.
Yeah, like he can doppelgang people.
He can doppelgang.
So I think Star would be the last one standing.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point. Star, you're next nominated.
Well, Star, the funny thing is that so you took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, y'all forget Star can fly.
I haven't.
And then on top of that, with Tori, see, all he got to do is be like, amazing grace, someone give me some salt. There it is right there. He's in place. And it's going to be like,
that's true.
Star going to be watching, and they're like, come down, boom, bang, pow. Star is amazing. But if I were say, going back to Black Powder's strategy, if people focused on Star would then have problems because Star is not really super fast, but they can fly. So it can go either way with Star, but if someone were to go out first, I hate to say it, but it would be Black Powder because the mobility issue. But yeah, that's my take on it. But then again, Sam can be like, he can be like Solid Snake and like snipe people and like go into a box and like I'm just saying, is it me?
So I also think like the final 2 standing would probably be Tori and Star. Just because of their powers alone, I think they're super powerful in that aspect if they're used right. So I think it would be also what we saw in the race is that competitiveness. That competitiveness would drive them to, that next level. So I do think those 2 would be the last 2 standing. I think first one's out. I also think if everybody targeted Frankie, which would make sense, Frankie could be the first one out. However, if there was any misstep or anything, I do think Black Powder, just because of the mobility, trying to move across the screen or away from people would just be a hamper. Although I would imagine right before they went, they had some type of a backstab feat and dropped someone with them, and it would probably be Sam.
The only way I see Black Powder surviving is just he's kind of tanky. Like, he
Yeah.
can take a lot of damage. So,
Yeah.
like, and people might ignore him because he's not much of a threat.
Right. That happens quite often. Like, people can easily maybe underestimate Black Powder, because I've definitely played Smash Brothers where I used to be decent and now I haven't played it at all, so I am very weak compared to, for example, my coworkers. So whenever we play stock, my coworkers tend to not worry about me as much, and they focus on everybody else, and then they deal with me at the end, and quite often that ends up being their downfall, because I kind of go from behind and I just like shank them at the very end. So that's another thing to take into consideration. Cool. One more follow-up question, just because I think this is fun. Has anyone here not played Super Smash Brothers or not seen it played at all? Okay, everyone has. Oh, you have not seen it played before? Okay. So there's something called a Final Smash, which is a special power-up that your character can get during the game, which lets them use, like, not a finishing move, but it's this very, like, dramatic, over-the-top sequence of an attack that you can unleash, which does very heavy damage to... You could either be everybody in the whole screen or just a targeted area. So if your character had a Final Smash in this sort of game, what would this Final Smash be like? I will start with Sous Vide. So I think Kirby actually had this kind of Final Smash where he actually puts all of the characters into a soup pot. I think he puts them into a soup pot, and then, you know, he places, you know, the top in the stew pot and, you know, like letting it simmer and cook for a while, and then opens the stew pot and all of the characters fly out in like an explosion. So that's what it would start out with Sue. But then a cat would show up, Sue would sneeze, turn into Vide, and as the characters were flying, Vide would take his like playing cards and Gambit style, like fling them at the flying characters, and they would each get hit, like Gambit style with each of the cards. So that would be Sous Vide's Final Smash. What would your other character's Final Smash be? Okay, go ahead. Person who's never seen or played Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, I just, as soon as you said it, though, I had an idea of Unleash the Catkin, where the Catkin just arises and just starts smashing people with tentacles.
Yes,
that's it.
Textbook Super Smash Brothers style Final Smash textbook. Very cool.
Tori's would be something along the lines of whoever, she uses the Final Smash on, they kind of turn into a voodoo doll and it just goes pin needle after pin needle after pin needle. So it takes a lot of damage and then whips him into the air afterwards.
I was kind of thinking for Tori that it'd be sort of like Steve's Final Smash, where Tori sends them to her world and then burns the world while they're in it.
Oh, too soon. Too soon. That's a sensitive subject for Tori.
Admittedly, like, this Final Smash would also be like possessing somebody and just making them, like, I don't know, jump off a cliff or something.
Yeah, you could just walk right off.
Star would do a concert, but it would be like in the sense of like a summoning. So Star, you'll see Star say Stormy, and Stormy would jump down, and you'll see him like going fast on his phone, and all of a sudden you see these lights appearing, then you see like all these people coming, and as Star is singing and hitting his guitar, and you're getting hit with music, and you see the other versions of Star like flying at you, like doing like karate moves, but like dance fighting as they're hitting you, and it's kind of like an entire area, AoE kind of like a Final Smash. So that would be Star. So yeah,
I could see Star having like a band drop in and take everybody's bones out of their body and use their bones as different instruments. Femurs on skulls for drums and backbone for a guitar, the whole 9 yards. Backing up Star.
I'm loving it. I support that.
As soon as you said band, I immediately thought of the Squid Sisters assist trophy in Smash, where the screen zooms in and the kill plane gets smaller and smaller and smaller because you have to pay attention to Star because Star's putting on a show.
I think for Frankie, it would probably still be very kind of basic in the sense that it would just be like this psionic rage moment, but it's kind of, I'm thinking like of kind of the older Final Fantasy Chrono Trigger games where you have like the ultimate attack where it's just like raining down psionic energy on someone. That's what I'm imagining. Frankie would just like go into this rage and just bring all of this rain of chaos down on their enemies.
So Ness and Lucas says PK Storm.
Frankie Starstorm!
Starstorm. Yeah. Frankie Starstorm. I love it. How about Siam?
Probably grab out his 2 Tommy guns and just start shooting them up in the air, and all the bullets storming down just across the screen on both sides.
Very similar to Solid Snakes, I think.
Yes.
Solid Snake was on a helicopter with like a grenade launcher. That would be kind of cool. All while he's giving a monologue.
Yes.
All while he's
100%.
That is a must.
100%.
Everything turns black and white.
Yeah.
And then he does the thing. That's amazing. That'd be super cool. And then maybe the 4 chess pieces would just be like on his shoulder or something.
Yeah.
The move could be called the Apocalypse Killer. It was Sam all along.
Yes.
Since Sam's the only one who can drive, I just imagined I was picturing like a black and white car coming in from off stage and hitting the enemy into Sam's world. Then he takes out the Tommy guns and just unloads into them.
Like Wario and his motorcycle. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
I love it.
That is perfect.
I love it. That's amazing.
Lonix Final Smash would be kind of like Mega Man's, in that he would summon all of the versions of himself for an ultimate attack.
So anyone who's watching who is able to, they can create a mini game with all of the characters and their Smash abilities and their special abilities. When I worked at my previous company, everybody in the team were big into Smash Brothers, and we actually were creating plans to sort of do a hackathon at some point and actually program a street fighting game where each one of us had our own like special characters and abilities based on ourselves, which I thought was kind of cool and funny. For me, my final Smash was similar to Wario's, where I jump into a Pikachu mobile and just like run over everyone bumper car style with my Pikachu mobile. I thought that was kind of cute. Cool. Awesome. Thank you for that very fun exercise. Speaking of fun, let's get back into the celebration that is happening. So you have some downtime amidst a big giant like block party feast, celebrating your wins during the race in the current world. So Star, here's what happens. You're feeding Black Powder, and as soon as Black Powder finishes baby backpack Black Powder finishes their food, their milk, Black Powder starts to glow, and then that glowing BP starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it finally goes into Black Powder, all grown up, fully clothed, all grown up, and Star will probably fall over because maybe Black Powder's too heavy for Star to carry after feeding the bottle. Oof. So Black Powder is now semi-crushing Star. And we can take it from there.
So we like, what the hell was in that bottle? What are you eating?
And Thistle, you can decide for yourself how much Black Powder did or did not remember. So decide for yourself, whatever you like.
I'm gonna say he did. He does remember like everything, and he's just like, and he just helps Star up. Doesn't say a word.
And people Star be like, so, does anyone need to take a nap?
They can still hit you, you know.
Star will take a step back and say, that's not fair. He said, we looked after you. We fed you. We helped you. Frankie carried you around and you would hit us? How dare you? But even though you said him, but still, how dare you?
He just raises his hand and like does the pat on the cheek.
Is Tangerine's castle in this scene? Because I know in Mario Kart 64, when you get the trophies, you drive up to the castle stoop.
If you'd like her castle to be here, it can be there. Yes.
I was just curious, just for a backdrop.
Sure.
And potentially a place to speak in private with people later. But
yeah. Sure.
So Lonic is going to... Excuse me, everyone. First, I just want to say thank you for coming here with me. And I feel like I should warn you all about what's to come. I know that I've hyped it up a lot, but I'd rather overhype this and have us be too prepared and it not be a challenge than have not prepared you all properly. Lado didn't exaggerate. The final world is a death trap. It is extremely glitchy. So glitchy that I'm pretty sure how I got to the library was that I was flung into that world when my game last glitched. I don't remember, and that's part of the problem. I can't remember ever being in that world. Lado has no memories for that exact same reason. It's a lot. It could be every bit as dangerous as any world we've been to so far. And I know that you're probably not going to take me seriously because of how simple the other worlds were leading up to this. But I hope that you all do. Also, I need to talk with 3 of you in private. But that can wait.
You say it's serious, Lonic. We trust your judgment.
Hey, it's your world. If you say it's dangerous, then I'm gonna trust your word on it.
And I don't have total loss of memory. I at least remember my dad, Bruce the Spruce.
Bruce the Spruce.
That's what we called him.
I like it. That could be a song. Now, Lonic, when you say your world last glitched, that might be my fault, kind of. You see, when you kind of first came into our world, we were playing your video game, and then something weird happened, and for some reason I thought if I used magic on the game console, everything would work. So I think part of the reason why you're here might be a little bit my fault, but also Frankie and Tori as well, but still, partially mine.
Hold on, Star, I wasn't even there. Wasn't Sam there?
This is true. But weren't you there? Like, you were present, and Sue
No.
also...
She was in my dream.
I was hanging out with BP.
She was teaching me how to read.
Damn it. Okay. Well, Star just... Well, also Sue was there, but still, just saying. So, sorry, first and foremost, sorry, because we're friends, and friends are honest. And if you say the world is a super horrible murder world, like anything like, then I think we'll be okay, because we'll do all right, I suppose. So, I got your back, buddy.
Lado makes a comment. Damn, Jimmy. Everyone's trying to find shortcuts. Everyone's trying to use cheat codes or find warp zones. It never ends.
What's wrong with cheating?
Yeah.
Cheating is for the weak. Cheating is for people who don't know how to play real games.
Cheating's for the smart ones who don't just follow what people tell them to do and find their own path.
The edgelog kind of tilts itself on the side, and so the edgelog does have a random pistol on his holster. Is that on holster? Where is this pistol just kind of flying and floating Like, how does that look?
Whenever you don't finish modeling something
Yeah.
in a 3D modeler, and you just like, it's there, but it isn't really attached to anything.
Okay. He's not. So the pistol is not like being aimed at anyone, but it's definitely like vibrating, like shaking a little bit slightly, almost as if brandishing it a bit.
Well, I'll have you know, Mr. Edgelog, that nobody here has a gaming mica, so no one's using cheat codes. And in case you didn't know, Sugar, Sar's hand will glow. I'm kind of made of niggas, so yeah, no cheat codes here. So for me, it's just kind of like my thing. It's who I am.
So, Star, Lonic has actually approached you.
Hey, Lonic.
He wraps his arms around you and gives you a great big hug. It says, "Thank you so much for getting me out of here."
Oh, you're welcome. And Star will like crouch down and say, well, it was my idea to use magic on the game box, so, you're welcome. As I said, we're friends. What are friends for? And Star does like the little finger.
I'm gonna go to the castle. When you guys are ready, can you send Sue, Tori, and Lado? I need to talk with each of them in private.
Okie dokie. Star will look at Black Powder, like giving you like an intense, thoughtful look, and says, BP, when we get home, you and I need to have a talk. I think.
Okay.
But Star is not doing sign language. Star's finger is glowing, and as Star is writing the word, they're creating like an after trail, so you're reading what he's writing in the air. So when this is over, we need to talk. A proposition I have for you. And then Star will give you like a bright smile.
All right.
A proposition or a deal?
If we're rested and we have time to talk now, we can always talk now.
This will be best saved for you and I to talk in private.
Okay.
Don't worry, I don't bite.
I don't believe you. Then again, you may just save that for Stormy.
True. And then you see a bunch of hearts come out of Star as he says the word true.
Yep. He's just gonna go sit down somewhere.
Sam's just enjoying the feasting and looking around. Very different elements for him, so.
Yeah, same. Frankie is stuffing his face. What he normally likes to do. After
Always.
a celebration. Yeah.
A lot tastier than rations.
Much better
A
than
lot
rations.
quicker to disappear than rations. I like to imagine that each food item, literally you take one bite and then the item disappears.
Frankie inhales it. In this version of the world, I imagine there's a lot of earlier Nintendo games where you had anime characters just open their jaw and just stuff just flying in.
Yep.
That's Frankie right now.
That's great. That's hilarious.
I think I asked Lado if he wanted to go first, then I can go after him.
Lado doesn't want to talk to Lonic. If Lonic wants to talk to Lado, it's up to him.
Well, seeing that Lado isn't going, Tori will go into the castle and look for Lonic.
He's just there in the entryway, so he's pretty easy to find.
What's up, Lonic?
Tori,
Yeah?
you stood up for me earlier. You stood up to Lado. You followed through. I know that might not be a big deal to you, but that's the first time that's ever happened to me.
Well, yeah, I have your back.
Thank you. I wanted to talk to you specifically about the Fifth World. The whole reason that we came here was to find an extra life for you. And I kind of realized when I was drowning earlier that we never actually asked your opinion. Do you want to be brought back?
I've been grappling with the idea. The honest answer is I'm not sure.
Okay. I'm glad I asked because you in this way, at least you're around. And I noticed you have lives. If something happened to you and you died in the fifth world, you might not exist anymore. And I couldn't live with myself if I let that happen.
I understand what you're saying, Lonic, but part of the reason I am feeling conflicted about this extra life is I'm not the only one who's lost someone. And part of me feels a little selfish for wanting to use that on myself when there's somebody else that I care about that has lost someone very dear to them. And if this extra life does what this legendary extra life says it's going to do what it says, then there's a friend of mine in Frankie's world that might need it more than me.
Who died in Frankie's world?
Felix's sister, Agatha.
Ah. You guys don't talk about her much. I guess that's why.
Well, I didn't know too much about Agatha. Our interactions were pretty limited, but I know Frankie could tell you more. But Felix and her were closer than anything, and that's the bond Carmen and I have. And the last conversation I had with Carmen, she actually seemed okay with this whole ghost thing. And it seemed like maybe we could make it work, but I don't know how Felix is doing. I don't think he's doing well.
Oh, well, if that's your choice, then I'm still with you all the way. But the other reason I wanted to talk to you is kind of in that same vein. There's somebody in the fifth world I want you to look out for, because I think you're one of the most powerful people here.
Who are you talking about?
You must have realized that I've got a crush. Okay, good. That didn't activate anything. On Sue. And I know that that's probably awkward because I know that you're rivals and that whatever happened that killed you, Sue might have had something to do with it.
I mean, I think everyone at this point knew about the crush. It was kind of obvious.
Okay.
But my personal feelings about suicide, sorry. I'm not gonna get in between like that. Like that's your relationship with her, and my relationship with her is totally different.
Get in between? I didn't mention anything like that.
I'm talking about me disliking her and trying to sabotage something of hers.
Oh, I didn't think you would.
You brought it up, so I wanted to make it clear that if you have this crush on Sue, are you looking for like my blessing or?
No, if something happened to one of you in the fifth world,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to choose between the two of you, that would destroy me.
So let's just not think about that, because it's not going to happen. Positive vibes on it.
Is that a yes?
A yes to...
Just looking out for Sue, making sure that she doesn't
Oh.
walk.
Yeah, no, I'll keep an eye out for Sue. I wish she did the same for me, but I am trying to let that just be in the past and move forward with Sue. I'm really trying.
Out of character. To be fair.
I know,
Out of
I
character.
know.
She did save your life
I know.
in Frankie's world. To be fair, out of character. The thing is, Sue herself wouldn't bring that up. Like, she wouldn't bring that up. Hark would bring that up, though, that Sue saved your life. So you're kind of even, technically. She kind of canceled herself out to even.
It's been so long since Frankie's World. Emily, just totally forgot. Yes, I'll, despite our roller coaster history, I'm going to make sure she's okay, Lonick. So you can trust me with her.
I think that I might have unintentionally put her in some danger.
What do you mean?
Ganvani always captures my princess. My princess.
And Sue is your princess.
Ever since we got here, I haven't called Tangerine princess one time, excluding now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you and Tangerine were ever a thing, but it doesn't seem like it was ever romantic.
There was a time where the writers were thinking about that, but they thought it would be better for the game if romance was left out of it. Which, the fact that I'm still able to feel that shows that my cords might be being cut. I might really be becoming free.
That's good. I think that's part of why we came here too, is to break that cycle and get your own free will.
It seems impossible. I just don't want this dream to end before it's time. Thank you. Tell the others that I appreciate what they did too, especially Sam being the first one to shake me free of Weehawken.
Of course. Yeah. I'll let them know. But you could also tell them yourself, because I'm sure they'd love to hear it from you.
I will. But I need to talk to my frenemy and my princess first.
Lado, then Sue. Okay. I'll go get Lado. Oh, actually, you might want to go to Lado. I don't know if he's gonna willingly come inside the castle.
It's just I don't know how the Tods might react to what I have to tell him.
I'll try to convince them.
Okay.
Okay.
If you can't, then it can wait until we find Tangerine or Ganbani.
Okay. All right. I'll be right back. Lonick, I'm gonna go fetch Lado. So she'll go back outside and look for Lado.
Sure. Let me talk about what happened in the meantime while you were having this conversation. So everybody else is having their feast. Sue and Veed are trying to keep away from the Tods as much as possible, and while that's happening, you can notice that she's starting to scratch her arm a little bit. But as she's scratching her arm a little bit, and Frankie's stuffing his face, and I'm not sure what the other three are doing. I'm just curious what you think the other three would be doing during the celebration. Star and Black Powder and Sam.
Star would be noticing Sue scratching and saying, "Need me to fix that for you, friend?"
It'd be really nice, she says. I'm trying. It's kind of hard to. I'm trying to be as nice as possible to all these wonderful people who've given us this great celebration, but when you're kind of allergic to them, then it's kind of tough.
Exactly. So Star is gonna be like, okay. So Star will sit where Sue is, kind of like keeping her company while she's away from the Todds.
Yeah.
I want to say Toad so bad.
Yeah. The Todds.
Okay. So Star is gonna do a healing on Sue, and I upgraded Star's healing.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. I got a 10.
Okay. So you will cast your magic, and you do seem that Sue had started breaking out into some hives, but your ability is at least able to temporarily mitigate it temporarily. Probably isn't going to be a permanent thing, but at least it'll make it more bearable. Sam and Black Powder, what are you all doing during this time?
So I want to be just talking to as many people as I can to get as much information as possible for the next level.
Yeah.
And using that to boost my intuition,
Ooh.
which is one of the traits that I have not used yet.
Yes.
But it gives me +3 to IQ to
Cool.
find good choices, paths, and clues.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yes, Sam.
You can roll. You can roll for that. And Black Powder, what are you doing?
I was basically planning on having Black Powder just kind of going around, also talking to people, but in a more casual way, just see what he can figure out, and also probably just hang and talk random stuff with like Frankie. Not anything in depth or anything, but like, man, this place is weird, isn't it? Kind of thing.
You'll be chatting with some of the other people just casually, and one of the Todds, at least you believe it's a Todd, with longer hair, says, so where are you from? Are you from the race? You don't look familiar.
It's complicated. I'm guessing there's subtitles so I can read the NPCs.
Yeah, there are subtitles. It says, well, are you, you haven't really touched much of the food. Is there something specific that you're allergic to? She asks.
No, I'm alright.
Well, if you need anything, let me know. My name is Toadette, she says with a smile.
Alright.
Yes!
Thank you
Toadette.
very much.
Back to Sam. So with your intuition, Sam, you get you'll hear some of the Todds and Todettes mention that they heard rumors that the first part of World 5 is a labyrinth, and that there is a creature that roams around the labyrinth that is very dangerous, nigh invincible. Nobody has figured out exactly how to defeat the creature because nobody seems to have survived enough to tell anyone if that was at all the case. So, just that gives you a little bit of a sneaky peek at the next world, labyrinth. While you're healing Sue, she's gonna talk to Star and say, you know, Star, I just wanted to say, you've always been a great caretaker to everybody. It must take a lot out of you having to look out for everybody all the time.
Well, I mean, it does, but for me, it's more about making sure everybody's okay at the end of the day. You know, back in my world, and Star kind of like looks around, I'm usually the one everyone else is taking care of. Because when Stormy is making business deals, it's always to make sure I'm okay. You know, with my friend Shepard, it's always to make sure I'm okay. Same thing with Lady Matilda. And here, I feel like I can make a difference. I can be of use. And if I can do that, then so be it. No matter the strain. Why do you ask?
She just says, I just want to make sure. I know that you said that it happens to you all the time in your world, but when was the last time anyone really asked how you've been feeling since? And she's looking at your hand specifically, the hand that can't, like, that doesn't have any nerve endings or feelings or muscle control at all.
Star, well, he sees where she's looking, and he subconsciously puts his other hand over it and says, his eyes will be green. Not good. But now is not the time for a breakdown. And besides, Tori kind of helped me out in that area. She and I kind of had a bit of a dreaming conversation. But in all honesty, Sue, but you hear all the voices say, want to go home. We just want to go home. We miss Stormy. We miss, hell, I miss that ridiculous robot energy.
Oh, I don't. Energy ended up being a piece of work.
I know. But I was with her for years, and she helped me with appointments and fashion and music and glamour and fame, and to not have her anymore, it's almost like not having, for a lack of a better term, my left hand. And I just wish I could get her back just for a little while, you know? I know she was only a robot, but she mattered to me. And she was a gift from my husband, so I can't help but feel sentimental. But, oh, sorry, I said, but what about you? How are you?
I'm doing fine. I definitely am anxious of going back home, especially from what we heard. Things over at Gourmet City are probably not doing so well, and just like you, I guess, I really want to help people. That's been pretty much what I'm supposed to do as a hero at that in my world. Not that I chose to be one, it's just circumstances. So I'm just worried about them, you know, just like I guess you worry about us. But going back to the things you were saying about energy, I'm so amazed by how forgiving you are, Star. I wish other people can be as forgiving as you, Sue says, as she sort of looks away a little bit.
Star will nudge her, like bump her shoulder with his and say, it's just a part of my nature. The Fae have always had big hearts and deep compassions, and growing up the way I grew up, you kind of had to let go and let live and keep moving forward because, you know, the next day was never promised. Even though in my world, music and vision is a thing, but so is life and death. You know, growing up in the Bloomingdale's orphanage, you know, sometimes dinner was beans on toast, and although I love beans on toast, but it wasn't always easy growing up. And I saw a lot of friends I had, you know, lose themselves to, you know, drugs or just get lost in the system. So I learned over time to exercise forgiveness as much as possible. And even though she may not have actually said she forgives you, but give her time and maybe have a true heart-to-heart with her. Because even though her situation is what it is, it was never your intention, was it?
No, of course not. Assuming we're talking about the person we're talking about. I tried having a heart to her. I went and spoke with her privately. I tried to lay all the cards, as Veed would say, all the cards on the table, and I said I was very genuinely sorry, and I meant it. And I could tell that, you know, like you said, she needed more time, and I just don't like it when people are mad at me. You know, I would bring up the fact that I did technically save her life back at Frankie's world, but I don't really want to keep score. You know, that's just not something that I do. So I've never brought it up really. But it just feels so hard when somebody just doesn't like you, and maybe just I have to accept that not everyone's going to like you all the time.
Would say that is very true, Sue. Not everyone is gonna like you, but as long as you stay true to your principles and you stay true to yourself, you don't need everyone's approval. And even though, and he'll like glance over at at Tori.
Well, she's not there yet. She's in the castle.
Oh, that's right.
Your Tori is in a different castle.
Yeah. Well, he'll look towards the castle and say, you know, as I said before, give her time, and you never know. It may work out to where you two are looking after each other because you need each other and creating a bond between you. So don't lose hope, my friend. Just everything happens in its own time, in its own season. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Well, aren't you just a bucket of ponies and rainbows? Lado kind of walks over. Oh, hi, Mr. Lado. Mr. Lado. Well, that's new. Mr. Lado, why are you so edgy all the time? And as soon as she says that, the Taz like stop and gasp. And then there's like this very long, awkward pause. And as like Frankie, for example, is stuffing your face, you're starting to notice like everything around you starts to go dark, and like these storm clouds start to appear out of nowhere as the mood suddenly shifts from this really light and happy party, and then whoop, it just kind of starts to get really grim and dark all of a sudden. And then this big like Lado starts saying, "Why am I edgy? You ask me why am I edgy?" And then like from the darkness the spotlight appears and shines on Lado. And the Toadette? Who's Toadette? The
Right?
Toadette that was speaking to Black Powder earlier. She comes out and she's playing this violin, and Lado starts saying, "It was years ago. My grandfather, he was murdered back in World War II. Some fool of a player decided that they wanted to skip over half of the game, so they stuck in a game Micah. It didn't end very well for my grandfather. He ended up disappearing without a trace, and nobody even remembers he existed. Nobody. But I remember. I always remember. One of these days, I'm gonna find out who killed my grandfather. And I'll say to them, my name is Lado. You killed my grandfather. Prepare to be deleted!" And then there's like thunder, lightning, like crashing. And as quickly as the storm clouds came, the heavens open up again. It gets lighter and brighter. The spotlight disappears. And as soon as the music starts playing again, that's more upbeat music starts playing again, and the Tods have a sigh of relief, and then they go, "Yay, party!" And they start going back to party again as if nothing happened.
Nor will say, Mr. Lado, maybe if we beat the game, maybe your grandfather will come out as a glitch. So you have a reason to help Lonic.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe. Oh, that sounds like hope.
Star's wings will go bright green. It's kind of my deal, dude. Just saying.
Oh, well, you do you, boo. You do you.
So it's like, you're so just ugh to you.
Says, yeah, well, when you live my life, honey, he says, trust me, life isn't full of daisies and vanilla pudding and whatever it is that you kids eat these days.
And then Star will say, is there vanilla pudding? Like, start looking around and say, well,
We could get vanilla pudding if we wanted to. We get a 1 in 10 chance of getting vanilla pudding. Of course, we also get a 1 in 10 chance of getting snakes and confetti. But hey, confetti, she says.
yeah, let's leave the grenade of many things where it's secured in our pocket, and let's just go search for actual pudding. And let's leave this splintery log to his thoughts. But still, think about what I said. Lonic can help you. So if Lonic asks for your help, you should take it. You. Star he'll like wrap his arm around Suits and say, let's go get some pudding.
Splintery? Well, just want to just make like a tree and get out of here.
Don't you just make like a tree and leave? Ugh, whatever. I'm done with this conversation. Like Star looks flustered.
You look flustered as you're leaving. I'm gonna say that, Tori, you witnessed the whole darkness coming and leaving as you're emerging from the castle. You might have even saw a spotlight shining on something, but you probably couldn't see what it was shining on. So that was like kind of random, of course. I mean, what else is new in this world?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she'll look at the surroundings, and before she approaches Leto, she'll be like, What did I miss?
Not much, Toots. Oh, hey, you're dead and miserable. You can speak my language.
Yeah, I can. What's up?
Edgy. I like you.
Thanks, Lado.
What do you want, Toots?
Lana needs to speak with you.
Oh, he does. Oh,
Yeah.
Every time I talk to Lana, he wants to talk about his feelings all the time. I can't be controlled. I'm trying to save Princess Tangerine all over again. I'm trying to eat this cake, but it tastes all stale and it's always the same thing. Nag, 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 nag. I can't stand him.
I think you might want to hear what he has to say, because it's a little... She whispers it so the pods can't hear. I don't think the pods can hear about this. I think it's something different from what you guys have always been doing over and over and over and over again.
Different?
Mm-hmm.
What, is he having second thoughts about his place in life all of a sudden?
You might just want to talk to him. You know, it might be good, Lado, because it might break up the normal routine. It might actually be cool and different. You know, edgy like you.
See, at least you understand. You and I were on the same page.
Yeah, same language. Same language, Lado.
Alright. Fine. I'll go and see what is on this guy's mind. Better be worth it, though. And I hope that I'm not wasting my time. Speaking of which, your friend over there, Lado says as he starts nudging towards Star in particular. Is he always like that?
Yes. He never turns off.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh, how can you stand that?
Well, he reminds me of somebody back home.
Somebody back home? Not that I care, but...
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I have a sister back home that went missing for a while.
Missing? Todd says, and it starts getting dark all of a sudden. Let me tell you about people going missing. My grandfather was murdered back in World War II because somebody decided they put a gay Micah into there, and he just goes into the whole spiel all this again. And Toadette's like running over. She starts playing the violin again, like trying to catch up. with everything?
Settle down. I was able to find my sister. Maybe we'll find your grandfather somehow. Maybe he's not really dead.
I don't know. Once you're dead, you kind of stay dead. Sorry, too soon.
I mean, no, it's appropriate.
Hey, I just tell it how it is, and
No,
anyone else gets offended by it, I have no care in the world for that.
That's their problem.
Exactly. Thank you. See? Exactly. Well, between you and me, I think your friend over there could use a little dose of reality every now and then, because I'm really surprised that none of you have gotten cavities at that point. He's so sweet and saccharine.
I'll keep him grounded, don't worry.
You do that. Alright, Toots. I'm gonna go talk to Lanik. See what he wants.
Later, Lado.
And he'll wander off. He'll slide off. He's a log. He just slides off towards the other castle. So Lado finally emerges into the room, or shows up into the room, and he says, "What do you want, Lanik, this time? And make it snappy too."
Snappy? All right. Lanik looks around really quick to see if there are any Todds listening in.
I mean, there might have been a Todd that was like a guard at the door, but when I say guard, I mean that very loosely, because let's be honest here, it's Princess Tangerine. So
Yep.
he's just kind of there just for show.
Probably not even an interactable NPC.
Yeah, could very well just be like painted on the wall, not an actual Todd. Hard to tell.
Snappy? I'm getting out.
Getting out? From where?
From here.
You
I'm
can't
retired.
do that.
I couldn't. I never could. But those people out there, whenever I got flung into their level, their world, I can leave. I can leave again. All we have to do is find a bookmark.
You can't just leave. You're the star of this game. What's gonna happen when you're gone? What's gonna happen the next time a player sits down and tries to get oodles and oodles of hours of mindless entertainment? What happens to all of the 30-year-olds stuck in their parents' basements? They're gonna have nothing to do with their lives at that point.
They'll just have to do something else. Maybe Nintendo will finally make your game. If I'm not around here to distract them.